Hey guys, and welcome to this video tutorial on Superjesus Down Again. I did a video on Superjesus Gravity a little while ago, over a year ago, and some of you liked and commented that you wanted this song. So thank you, Liam Harley, Music Mad 8, Lady Space 01. I hope you're going well with the tutorial on the first video, Lady Space 01. If I'm talking a little funny, that's because I've just had plastic surgery on my lip. Yes, it is gross. No, you're not saying it. Alright, so let's get into it. The first thing to know about this song is the tuning. So the way that Superjesus do it is they do it in drop C tuning, which would normally be C, G, C, F, A, D. But they put a capo on the first fret. So what we're going to do is we're just going to tune up to the sharp, which is the half step up from that tuning. So we're going to have C sharp, G sharp, C sharp, F sharp, A sharp, D sharp. It just makes more sense. It's easier. I don't like capos. The other thing to note about this video before we get underway is that this is my interpretation of it. There's not much tab out there. I don't think there is a tutorial video on it. And there's also two guitars going on in that song, especially at the start of the song. So my interpretation is going to be for you guys to be able to play it by yourself and capture the feel of that sound just with one guitar. Intro. Obviously it's mainly just drums, bass and a bit of low pass filtering going on. What I would do behind that is I would just be in the background going, add a bit of texture, and I'm just on the A string. I'll call them the strings as they normally are for now. I'm just on the A string, which is G sharp, 5th fret, and I'm just playing that open, playing that E open. Okay, and let the bass do its thing. When you come in, this is when I'm talking about my interpretation, because there's two guitars and they're both doing two different things, low and high, and they're combining to give that full sound. My interpretation of trying to pick that up would be this. Okay. That's all I'd do. I know there's a lot more to it, but that would give a good representation of the start, especially if you're playing live. What you could even just get away with playing them too. So what I've got there is I'm barring the 5th, okay, on the G and the D string. I've got 7. I'm picking through the A string and the 3 bottom strings. Oh, you can see my ugly lip. And then I'm just sliding that up to the 8th. To put that extra note in there, I'm keeping that shape, but I'm just dropping the index finger down to the 7th, and then quickly going back to that little slide there. So you heard that high E slide? You definitely want that. Okay, that's my interpretation of that particular part there. Okay, so the next part is the heavier switch, still in the intro there. I'll read some tabs that'll tell me to go from the 10th to the 12th and then to the 3rd, a full bridge sort of. Okay, so 10, 12, 3. What I prefer to do, instead of doing this, I do this. The reason I do that is because we're in low tuning. So these fatter strings here tend to have trouble with intonation the higher you go up when you're in lower tuning. So we're in drop C or drop C sharp, and you just tend, it's very subtle. That's another way to play the intro, and you can hear why I don't want to do that, because the intonation gets knocked out a little bit. So I'm down here and I'm playing just your traditional power chords. So we've got a C power chord, slide it up to a D power chord. Okay, pretty simple. I've got your A string 3rd fret, I've got your G and your D string 5th fret, and just slide up to the D, and then I'm playing this full barred, what I call a drop chord. You could just do that. I like to add the G string. You get this really cool to it. So I'm barring the 3rd there, and I'm just adding the G string on the 5th. Cool? Alright, let's get to the next part. Okay, so during the verses, we're playing this. I'll play it first. Okay, so what we're doing there is like a bit of an octave, but it's tricky to play. I don't know if you've come across these before. The actual note that I've got is on my A string, and I'm on the 8th fret. Okay? I'm playing that, and with my pinky on the G string, I'm on the 10th fret. They're kind of like octaves, but if I was to play them just like that, I'd have this middle string rattling off in between, and it would sound shit. So what I do is I mute the A string. I mute it with the inside of my finger while I'm playing this. Listen to this. I'll just play the note I'm muting. Okay, so that's the position I do, and you play just these 3 strings. So you're just playing your A string, your D string, and your G string, and you get this. You might have to practice that if you haven't done it before. If you have, cool. So we're going to lead off the index finger, and we're on the 8th fret. Okay, just a little bit of palm muting, and listen to the song for the rhythm. And then we slide up, we're using our index finger as a guide, we slide up to the 10th. And back down to the 8th. And then we go to the 9th. 10th. 10th. Second time around, I add that open, what would be an E, but is actually a C sharp. You got it there, chug away at the motherfucker. Got it? So then we've got the chords of the end of the verse. I sort of see them as a pre-chorus, the whole thing. So we'll do the whole pre-chorus all in one. So the first note that we've got, or first chord, is a B minor, power chord. And then on the 3rd, we've got that dropped power chord. So we're bridging the whole 3rd, and we're on the 5th fret G string. And then it does this. So that's just a little riff with the A and the E string from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret, or from the 5th back down to the 3rd. And then it goes back into the B minor, and then that drop power chord on the 5th, and you build it. Okay, that's the pre-chorus, so I'll go over it again. So we're just coming out of that. Then we we go into the chorus. So we want a D power chord, B minor power chord. On the 3rd fret we want that drop power chord and a C power chord. Timing is similar to this. And then ending out the chorus, we've got that riff that we did before, but there's a little bit extra on it. So what we've got there is, I'll just play it real slow. Okay, we're going to work on the bridge now. Obviously we've got another verse and another pre-chorus and a chorus, but we already know that. And after the second chorus it goes into this sort of chilled bridge. So I'll show you what I've got. Okay, that goes around and around and has a little bit of a change at the end. Don't stress if you didn't see my fingers, I'll show you what we've got. We can just play a D because we're in that sharp tuning. So just play a D. And then add in that little suspended note there, which is just a hammer on the high E string on the 3rd. Probably done it before. And then let it go. And then we're way up here on the 8th fret. We're barring the 8th fret. And on the G string we've got 10, and on the D string we've got 10. Just pick through them. And then we drop our ring finger and our pinky down one string. We just play the bottom half of the strings. So now I'm still bridging the 8th, and I've got 10 on my B string and my G string. And I just move my pinky up one fret to the 11th. And you get this little melody. Then you switch to this. So I'm bridging the 5th. And on the B string, I've got 8. And on the G string, I've got 7. So that little melody is all together. And that goes around a few times, but on the last time around, instead of playing that last note, she goes. And that's just a build up for the lead. So I'll do that last progression. And then the lead. Alright, lead break, what to do. I sort of debated around what to do with this, and I thought I'll break it up into chunks, which is the way you should learn any lead break, but I also thought that we're not going to do it note for note. I don't usually do any solos note for note. I just try to encapsulate the prominent parts that give it its recognisable feel. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just coming out of... We'll do the start as he does it, which is... So what I got there is a half bend on the 7th A string, half bend on the 5th A string. I'm hitting that open E a couple of times, and then I've got a bit of a half bend on the D string 3rd fret. So we got does that twice, and then he kind of noodles around between the 3rd and the 5th. I wouldn't go any further down than the D string. So what he does is, from the start, well, it's very similar to that. So that is the first part. From there he goes up a little bit higher. If you can, I'll jump off the front pickup and get up onto your neck pickup. And he's up here on the 8th fret, and this is what I'm hearing anyway, the high E string and the B string. So he's just sort of that would do. That would be more than enough. Then it goes back into that octave. He sort of brings that them octave notes in the verses in, so that really cool touch. And then he does this this bend with, so if you were to hold your index finger on the 8th fret B string and then stretch up and grab your G string on the 11th fret, and you're bending the G string but holding your index finger on that B string. You bend it up to pitch. You play them together, you get this. Okay. Then he goes back into that. So we come to the last part of the solo. I can't really tell what he's doing or find any tab on that. So I'm just going to kind of ad-lib that, and like I said, try and capture a little bit of it. So the first thing you want to get is a full bend and release B string 13th fret. Then he goes straight into this triplet, which is sort of like, you might have to extend that out a little bit and go for it to fit. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not exactly how he does it. I can't tell what he does. So all I'm doing there is I'm bridging the 13th fret, the E and the B string, and I'm just noodling around alternate picking. So, and I'm adding in with my middle finger and my ring finger 15 and 17 on both E and the B string. Alright, then we go. Then we're back to the bend. Back to this. We've got the bend here. And then straight into the... Okay, so after the lead, we go back into a pre-chorus and a chorus. Just a quick note on the lead break, the chord progression underneath the lead break is the same as the heavier part of the intro. Okay. Now the last chorus continues on, so it's the same chord progression in the outro. Right, and it's got this pretty little riff going over the top of it to see the song out, and that is. Pretty simple. All it is, on your B string 13th fret, we've got a half bend and release. 10th fret, still on the B string, we've got a half bend and release. And do that again. Now here up on the G string, we've got a slide from the 12th to the 14th. And on the 11th. Don't overbend them. Just sound a bit out if you do that. And as I said, the chord progression continues on in the same chords as the chorus to the end of the song. Okay, that's it. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Sorry this video took so long. Usually I try to do them nice and quick and simple. This song's a little bit more technical, so it took a little bit longer, and I never played this song before, so Thanks for putting up with me. Like I said, it's not exact, but hopefully it'll give you guys a little bit of a clue on how to start playing that. Oh, it would be awesome to see somebody cover this, whether it be one of you guys or someone else, on electric. Okay, cool.